What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, I posted an article photo of Francis Ngannou, still talking about how AJ's team played mind tricks on him and mind games and all of this type of stuff. And bottom line, he's whining and crying, okay? I don't care about you Francis Ngannou fans. I don't care about AJ fans. I don't care about the fanboy stuff, okay? Let's strip these things down, okay? There's things that happen in life that seems unfair to us, like loved ones dying. Okay, he lost his son. I'm losing my mom. My dad at this point seems like he's here, but his mind is not there. And physically he's not the same. So I don't know how long they have left on this earth. Hell, they might outlive me. You never know what happens. Tomorrow's not promised to none of us, okay? One thing that I see with a lot of people is they focus on shit like it's the end of the world. They focus on things and they're arrogant as fuck as long as they're on top. But the second something goes wrong, well, you know something, you have to be on top of shit. I'll give you an example of something, right? You see, let's compare some situations. Now, Francis Ngannou is talking about the mind games. We all know. Oh, they told him he had to be there 3 hours early, all this type of stuff. He talked about how he was sleepy. He was in there shadow boxing. He drank some water and all of a sudden he didn't feel right. So, see, all that shit, I remember what he said. I don't care about nothing. There's nothing he's going to say now that he didn't see or already say. We don't care about that. We know the story, okay? The purpose of me reposting was because this is a new interview that he just did, okay? And pretty much he's going into this whole, what happened, and he still wants to try to clarify that he didn't lose, he was cheated, basically, okay? So let's compare the situation. Now, everything that he said about being told he had to be there 3 hours early, all this stuff he's talking about, okay? You are a grown-ass man. He make it sound like they had him locked in a room or something with guards out there. You can't leave this room, or no, you basically did what you did, and pretty much, the fact of the matter is you're harping on it. You're harping on it. You're supposed to have a fight coming up in the PFL, right? And pretty much, the whole thing with this Ngannou situation is, when I started to see his arrogance, like when he told Fury, "You're nothing in front of me. You're lucky you're protected by the rules of boxing," and it's like, nah, that's some bitch shit. Okay, you claim you always wanted to box, but you ended up going into MMA. Boxing is something you always wanted to do, and you realize that you can do this, and that this is what you're doing. Boxing is something you love. You have love. Boxing's your first love, and all that shit he was talking about. Now all of a sudden, you're lucky that you're protected by the rules of boxing. Okay, all of this shit that he was saying, I'm like, nah. And I spoke about it then. Everybody, oh, Ngannou's so humble. Okay, whatever. I guess we had different understandings of the word humble. I know what the definition is. That's what I go by. So I guess we just adjust and alter shit now. But he said all of these things. Okay, now we talking about fairness. Remember when Floyd Mayweather, I forgot who he was fighting, and I think Robert Garcia, was he the trainer? Was it Victor Ortiz? Might have been Victor Ortiz. But bottom line, whoever he was fighting, Floyd Sr. was in there, and Floyd was in there. We're checking the gloves. He's like, hell no, these gloves ain't got hardly no padding. And Floyd's like, no, I'm not wearing them fucking gloves, and you not either. Simple. Okay. Every time a fighter dies in the ring or a fighter ends up with brain damage, everybody want to go in the comment section of that video talking about RIP or if that person dies or, oh, my condolences, yo, that's fucked up, blah, blah, blah. He was a great for all this shit. But when a fighter is making sure that everybody's playing on a level playing field, oh, he's a pussy, he's a bitch, he's scared. Now, Robert Garcia was throwing those terms out. Oh, man, they like a bunch of pussies, man, they're scared, they're this and this and this and this, right? Like Floyd is saying, we going in here to win a fight. Ain't nobody going in here to try to kill me. Like, this ain't about, like, I'm not trying to kill nobody. I'm not going to let nobody kill me. Like, man, these gloves ain't got no padding. So he's being responsible. Now, let's just say, for example, if something would have happened And let's just say that the truth came out that the glove had no padding. You want to know exactly what would be said? Well, Floyd, that's Floyd no fault. That's why you check the glove. You're supposed to make sure that that stuff don't happen. When you have hatred for a person, it doesn't matter what they do. You're going to always have an excuse as to what they should have did differently. It's always the ones you suck off. That's the ones who can't do any wrong. So here's the thing, okay? You came into boxing. You said you was cheated against Fury. You said boxing owes you. This is what he said. Motherfucker, you came into boxing and made more fucking money in one fight than you made your whole MMA career. Then you get a second huge payday against Anthony Joshua. And you're saying boxing owes you. Yeah, we know more than likely he's referencing the Fury fight. Boxing don't owe you shit, bro. Boxing gave you something you never earned in the first fucking place. So when you sitting there talking about boxing owes you, and then he's talking about basically AJ's team was showed favoritism and all this kind of shit, man, let me explain something to you, man. You're not a fucking baby. You're a grown-ass man. So I'm not here to defend AJ. I'm not here to try to say that, now all this shit about his water being poisoned, well, who handles your water? Huh? So, but with all this other shit he's talking about, and the fact that he's still talking about it right now is like, bro, listen here, man. We're grown as adults. See, in life, we all go through things. We can all make a decision and go, damn, you know what? If I would have been thinking, or if I knew more, I'd have did this differently or whatever. All of us. It happens to all of us at some point. It's called being a human being. It's just funny to me how when it comes to the fight game, nobody knows what they're supposed to put in their body anymore. Nobody knows the rules about what they're supposed to do when they enter a venue or whatever. Everything is always upside down. Okay, I remember Zab Judah blasted Oscar De La Hoya to his face at one of the press conferences when he told him, he said, man, that I forgot who Zab was fighting, but Zab was like, man, we ain't getting nothing, no food, no water, no nothing. We in here for hours. It's like he said all of this to Oscar's face before the fight even happened. At the press conference, he was, talking about the favoritism and the lack of respect that De La Hoya was showing, right? Unprofessionalism and all of that. These are things that you address and you get out and you like shit happens. So my point is whether a fighter talk about things or not, we're not saying shit doesn't happen. But bottom line is, when that type of shit happens, man, what you think goes on going forward? In negotiations, you do realize that these are things that you make known, right? And that thing that you have put in writing. Why? Because guess what? Your word against somebody else's, all the motherfucker got to do is say, I never promised you that, or I never said that. You guys know this. So Francis Ngannou, you've been an MMA fighter for a long time. You understand how things work. So coming into boxing, yeah, the sport's different, but goddamn, you're a grown-ass man. These are things, all this shit you got to be on top of. This is why when people are smart business-wise, they're going to do better than people that's just talented in certain ways, but they don't understand business. They always, they use your own ignorance against you. So whatever he's claiming happened, I'm not trying to hit all poison water shit. I'm not trying to hit none of that. Stupid. I don't know what happened. And I ain't trying to hit none of that bullshit. I'm not trying to hit any of it. At the end of the day, if Francis Ngannou would have went in there and knocked Anthony Joshua out, you wouldn't hear nothing about poisoned water. Just like Deontay Wilder, his water was poisoned, but nothing came back in his system. What came back in Francis Ngannou's system? So I'm not trying to hear none of that goofy shit. Okay? I'm not trying to hear the excuses. All I hear is a bunch of entitlement and a bunch of bullshit. See, imagine how the fighters feel that's been busting their ass trying to get these shots. And here you come because of popularity's sake. It's not like you said, hey, listen, man, with all due respect, I would love to go in there and fight Fury and make this big money, but there's far more fighters that's deserving of it, and I wouldn't feel right coming in there taking that money from them, taking that opportunity. No, you're not going to say that. No, you took an opportunity that was given to you. Given, not earned, given. I don't care who you beat in MMA. It has nothing to do with boxing. And you skipped the line, bro, twice. Back to back. So at the end of the day, boxing owes you nothing. Okay? And you feel like the judges robbed you, then that's your beef with the judges. The judges don't run boxing. Okay? Boxing owes you nothing. See, but people forget that shit. I don't want to hear no goddamn excuses, man. This is a grown-ass man. And every time something doesn't work out in a grown-ass man's favor or grown-ass woman's favor, we always end up somehow making excuses for them like they're little kids. Case in point, we saw what happened in the ring. Nothing that you're saying happened backstage can we see. Nothing backstage was talked about by nobody but you. And when your family started to speak out and talk shit, they were talking in your defense. But all of this came from you. And the funny thing about it, AJ was gracious to you at the end of the fight and everything. And for you to decide that you want a rematch with AJ or with Fury, let's look at it this way. You never earned a fight with any one of them. But because of your showing against Fury and his lack of doing what he was supposed to do, you were highly overrated once again, and you got there with AJ and you got your ass cooked. Now, if that would be the case, that they would give you a rematch just because you're bitching, well, then that means they could have just said, fuck it. Even though Joseph Parker beat Wilder, Wilder still gets the fight. You're not more deserving than fucking Joseph Parker. But you got something that Joseph Parker didn't get. He already fought AJ one time before. But bottom line of what I'm saying, Joseph Parker been winning his fights. He came back. He beat Deontay Wilder after 3 fights of trying to get back to you want to say top form or trying to just trying to get back in that position. He beat Zhang, and yet here you are crying to try to convince the world that you didn't lose fair and square. You was cheated. And then here goes the crazy thing. And I remember when Ngannou was being interviewed and said, I'm not saying that if that didn't happen, that the same thing wouldn't happen, then okay then what is your point? I'm not saying that the same thing wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been so sleepy and felt the way I did, or if something was put in my water. Okay then, if you're saying that the same outcome still could have happened, what are you crying about then? AJ to this day hasn't brought up and spoken about the Joey DeWaco situation and say anything other than, look, I was fine. Even though Wilder fans themselves, everybody was saying something definitely wasn't right with AJ. You could see it. You could see it. They're trying to make sense of everything we're seeing. I think it was an equilibrium shot because, I don't know, AJ was going down from punches that looked like, seriously, okay, and his legs was never wobbly. He just was going down. It was like, what the fuck is going on, right? Okay, but bottom line, he don't even talk about it or bring it up. He went in there, he got the rematch, he won, and that's that. You talking all of this, people, he's such a warrior, he's such a humble. No, Ngannou's not humble. He's arrogant as fuck too. He just says less. That's all. But he's arrogant as fuck too. When he speak, he lets he says he speak. It's what he says. It's self-explanatory. Okay. All the motherfuckers at some point got some kind of cockiness, some type of arrogance or whatever. Okay. But bottom line, what I'm saying, no, stop all this trying to make him some saint. I don't respect this kind of shit, and this is my point. I can look at some shit and say, let's just say, for example, right? I don't know what they pay you to go on Ninja Warrior, but let's just say, for example, I go on Ninja Warrior and say, but just to say they pay me big money. I know they tell you what you won, whatever. But bottom line, I watched the show. But bottom line, let's say I go on Ninja Warrior, and all of a sudden they go, hey, Ninja Warrior is now paying 100. They say they're gonna have a tournament, and the winner's gonna get 500 grand. Let's just say they bump it up to 500 grand. Or let's say, fuck it, let's say $1 million. Let's say $1 million. Now let's just say, for example, now I do all types of training, but I don't train for Ninja Warrior. But let's just say I get on the show and I skip, how you got to train and do all whatever they do. But bottom line, I get on there, basically I'm in. We want you in. Why? Because I have a podcast or some shit. or I'm popular from something else, and they automatically put me in it. And this isn't even about having celebrities. This isn't like a celebrity version of Ninja Warrior. But bottom line, they just pick me. Now I go in there, and let's just say something goes wrong, or there's a fucking something happens where I just feel like somebody had an advantage over me in some one way or another. But here it is. Damn, Aries, you don't even train for Ninja Warrior, right? You do physical training. You train to fight MMA. You train to wrestle. You train to box. You do all that shit. But you don't train for Ninja Warrior. You came on this motherfucker. Now let's just say the $1 million was for the winner and 500,000 was say for the runner-up. Let's just say. Now I go in there and make 500K. But I feel like, okay, you know what, man? I feel like they cheated me, or whatever. Well, let's say now the second time I go on there, I win another 500 grand or 300 grand. Just say. But bottom line, I went in there and picked up some money, and I went in there and I performed. But they didn't pay me according to how far I go in Ninja Warrior. They just paid me for participating. You understand what I'm saying to you? So let's say I went in there and made $800,000 for 2 appearances for something I don't even train in, where you got other people training, but because of my popularity in something else, they stuck me on that damn show. Now I'm bitching that boxing owes me because I felt like, okay, I'm bitching that Ninja Warrior owes me because I feel like I was cheated the first time, and then all of a sudden now I was cheated the second time. And I think that people are overlooking that. This is basically what he's saying. So even for the people that feel like he won the fight, okay, well, how many actual boxers have had the same fucking claim that they was cheated? They really won the fight. Okay? You can make all the excuses you want. Either you're going to get the rematch or you're not, but at the same time, here's a guy, but what I'm saying at the same time, here's guys that climbed up the rankings and earned it the hard way, the right way. Here's a guy who's done nothing in boxing, but was brought from another sport because of popularity and was given. Literally, bro, you was literally given. It was like this. This is what he did. He got a scratch off. And it's like, okay, there's 2 numbers on here. Okay, 2 numbers. The one you scratch is the one you get. You didn't earn nothing, man. You was given these opportunities. What the fuck boxing owe you? And now to sit here and cry about it. I saw the fucking Joe Rogan interview. I posted the but I seen the fucking interview, so I know what he said. I don't care about none of that. This is my whole thing. These grown ass people always want to fucking make excuses when shit don't go their way. But here's the deal. Focus on your PFL MMA fight. Focus on that. Stay out the boxing ring. Just stay out the boxing ring. Focus on your PFL. For one, it's not fair for you to come back and then have a third fight and it's somebody like a John Reese or Joseph Park. You're not that good. You haven't earned that. Okay? But that's what your expectations are. And the powers that be, if they're seeing money, well, they're going to want to match you up with someone that has some notoriety for the simple fact that they want to make money off you in the future. What are you, like 39 now? Just stay in the PFL. Focus on your MMA career. Stop being bitter and salty about it. And just focus on that. Man, it's one thing about an excuse maker, man. Like, people ask me about shit that happened years ago. Certain stories I remember to tell y'all because I'm making a point about a video I'm making just to share some things to show you similarities. And it's certain shit that, like I said, we all are speaking from experience. But, man, there's so much shit people bring up. I'm like, man, whatever. Like, I don't even... Why? Because it's not even worth remembering. It's not worth holding on to. You know, speaking to people, like I spoke to a guy that I fought, and he was like, man, I wish you... Now, check this out. He's not even saying this about himself. He's saying, I wish you could have got on that stage with a Mike Tyson, man, with a Riddick Bowe, with a Holyfield. Like, I wish the world could have saw what you could do, man, because you did so much for me and you helped me so much, and I fucked around and fucked up out in the streets and shit, and I'm like, yo, I always was looking at you like, yo, everybody. And I don't have to sit in and try to toot my horn. Always the conversation was there, like, yo, this dude gonna be champ of the world, bro. Yo, this motherfucker's nasty. Yo, this... I don't have to prove shit, but I can tell you what, there's a lot of motherfuckers who didn't know, who didn't understand, got that false confidence and learned the hard way. Like, yo, nah, that shit's real, bro. That motherfucker really is that good. I don't regret shit. I don't regret nothing. I know what was going on in my life. I know what was important to me, and to be honest with you, it wasn't about, boxing. I have to do this. I did what I did. I accomplished things that meant something to me, and I leave that shit alone. I don't walk around here like there was no failure in me. It was me stepping away from boxing. I stepped away for my own reasons, and I understood what was important and what was going on in my life at the time. That's all. It wasn't no, oh, he failed. No, I didn't fail at shit. I did what I felt was better for me and for my family at the time, and what I was. And understand, I didn't get into it so I can be a celebrity or a superstar. It had nothing to do with that. So my intentions were different, my motives were different. And when you're around people that see nothing but dollar signs, you guys are never. You finally got it started. Okay, they're celebrating because they got the car started. Right, but anyway, the point of what I'm saying, guys, is there's always something that you can look at and understand what's going on, what's important. If it's about the almighty dollar, yes, okay. If it's all about whatever, if it's about legacy, if it's about, look, at the same time, here's the thing, okay. If Francis Ngannou, if this was all about legacy for him, he would lose the ego. He would understand, bro, I didn't earn this shit. It was given to me. My earnings came in MMA. Okay? Not to mention, he's not even a part of the UFC anymore. Okay? He wasn't contracted by the UFC when he had that fight, so this wasn't no UFC versus boxing, even though, of course, the MMA guys want to come out to support MMA guys, as they always do. But what this really comes down to is real simple. If this is about legacy, if this is about any of this shit, as far as the thrill of competition in boxing, you would dust yourself off. We know what happened with his son, and so that pulled him away as well. But he's set to make a return to MMA. So he be returning to the boxing ring. He dust himself off and wouldn't hold on to this shit crying about it. Because at the end of the fucking day, once again, you were handed opportunities. Okay? You were handed opportunities. I wasn't there to see what happened. I know what I saw in the ring. So all this shit about I felt tired, I just wanted to sleep and all this and whatever. Yeah, whatever, man. Let me end this video on this note right here, man. Through ups and downs in life, as you get older, you get wiser, you start to look at things, and you start to realize things that you harped on was not helpful but a hindrance. And you start to understand what was really important. And this is where you can look up and smile and realize, you know what? Yeah, I've gotten closure on whatever situations was, because now I understand now what I didn't then. And pretty much no one should harp on negativity. In all honesty, if you're holding on to that shit, that can cause you to go into your PFL fight and not have the focus that you need, and then lose that too. Then what's the excuse going to be then? Well, I wasn't focused because of what happened with Anthony Joshua and what happened with Tyson Fury. I got robbed against Fury. Then I got cheated against Joshua. So that's going to be the story of his boxing career, in his words, that he got cheated in both fights. Well, you're not showing concern with all the fighters that was cheated because that you got catapulted over them. And like I said, you wasn't focused on them and their families. You were focused on you and your family. You understand what I mean? And you were given opportunities just to end up saying that boxing owes you when they didn't have to give you shit in the first place. So the same way you were the dance partner of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, well, you made money regardless. You made money regardless. So at the end of the day, it's not that Joseph Parker and AJ couldn't have went and gotten there and mixed it up. The whole point was, as far as the fight being a big seen as a big mega crossover fight. Well, I don't know what the pay-per-view numbers were, and the interest in the fight and all that was high, but at the same time, to be real with you, I didn't care for the fight. And I feel like I'd rather see Joseph Parker in it, personally. So let me make that clear. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. And this is all about being fair. This is my whole point. I didn't really care about the fight. I just wanted to see AJ do what he had to do, get Ngannou up out of here so he can go to PFL. And this is nothing against Ngannou. It's just plain and simple. You have, put it like this, the same people who want to make excuses for Ngannou, let somebody, like I told you, like how my dad, I watched all these guys before me. My dad working, and it took him 23 years to get to the salary he was making doing construction. And they had these young boys coming straight out of motherfucking high school, coming there with little hard hats on, 18 years old, calling shots and fucking making what my father was making and getting higher positions than my father and all those guys because, oh, this is the foreman's nephew or the foreman's son or the foreman's neighbor. Same thing. Put yourself in those shoes. You've been busting your ass grinding where you are just to have somebody come in there and skip over you. You know, I worked at places where it was a problem and people was walking off jobs because now they have positions for supervision, assistant manager, and all of a sudden, instead of hiring inside, you go outside to get people. And you always get these people that come in and talk about, oh, I have experience with this, that, and the third. And then when they get in there, they don't know shit. They got to ask questions, right? Okay. So with all that being said, y'all, I just want to make the point, man, that, look, things are not always going to go your way. We all know that. Life is not, my plans is not your plans. Your plans is not my plans. The world don't stop for us and go, oh, they want to do this, they want to accomplish that. Okay, you know what? Let's go. I know a man down my street, 84 years old, just got his GED. At 84 years old, driven, finally got his GED. He's not a stupid person. He basically said as a kid, he had relatives that was dying and stuff. He had to take care of them. They took him out of school, and he just was working. And the dude went out and learned construction work. And he was working, doing his own thing. And he became his own boss and was working as a private contractor. But 84 years old, and he said, I just did it just to have it. Just to have it. I work for myself, right? He said, but just to have it. 84 years old. So your drive is up to you. But when you harp on things, like he could have very easily looked and said, damn, man, because of what happened to me back then, I never got my GED. And he could sit there and hold on to that. But no, 84 years old, and he went out and got his GED, man. So I'm just saying, come on now. Let's not making excuses. You out here making millions and millions of dollars, and y'all bitching and crying. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, the amount of money changes principle, but what I'm saying is you are making an ass out of yourself. And when you start making excuses, people get tired of you. Because everything is always something was wrong, some injustice was done wrong to me. You know? Yeah, man. I just notice things, I see things, and, you know, we speak on it. But I wanted to make a video about that because it's like, yeah, man, you constantly hear people talking and saying things and acting like somebody owed them some shit, man. Man, I left home at 18 years old. Most of y'all don't leave home to y'all late 20s, early 30s. Some motherfuckers mid 30s. I left at 18. I was paying my own motherfucking car insurance, my own fucking rent, my own utility bills. Me. Buying my own groceries. So I had to understand how to budget my money. I had to understand before I even got out. You know, I had money saved. I was always working. You know, and so, yeah, I was always, you know, understanding, like, what I had to do. But at 18, I had to learn on the job. At 18, you don't know much about the world. You know what you know. But you start to realize when you out there. But I was never scared, or what if this happened, what if that, nothing. And I've never had to go live with anybody. Always had my own. Always had my own. You know, went through life, got married, got kids and all, and I've never had to go live with someone, nothing. Never needed no roommate, never nothing. I looked out for people who wasn't doing so good, but I never had to, like, depend on nobody to give me shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, through ups and downs in life, you learn. And it's what I'm saying. You got 38-year-old motherfuckers out here with millions of dollars and they crying about shit, man, and keep making up excuses. Come on, y'all. Y'all, hey, look, we can do better, man. We can do better. Ngannou, you lost your son, I'm losing my mom. That's what's important to me. Those things are those are things you can't replace. You can replace money, you can replace title belts, you can replace material shit. You can't replace a life. So I know what that feels like. And my mom ain't the first person we losing. We done lost a whole lot of people. I done lost a nephew that didn't make it to C12. Okay, when my father was a kid, his little brother, baby brother died as a little kid. I mean, all this, we've had all kinds of shit and tragedies. Those are the things that's really important, man. Those are the things that's really important. And I'm not saying a person, like I said, you don't settle for shit when you're being done wrong, but like, come on, bro, this shit is done. At this point in time, it's like, man, listen, man, what happened. I'm all about going forward. We ain't focusing on that old shit. That's the problem with people. They want to harp on the past. Just because you're asked a question don't mean that you have to feel compelled to go into story mode. It's like, man, listen, whatever happened, that shit is done, man. I'm focused on this next up-and-coming fight with the PFL. We going forward. That's all. Stop with the excuses, y'all. Stop it. I read something the other day. I don't know. I didn't read the article. I saw the thumbnail. I read the thumbnail, and it said that the Charlos reunite and squash their beef after all these years. And you know what? Great. I said y'all shouldn't come out here on social media putting your business out there, man. Y'all the family. Y'all the brothers. These people don't care nothing about y'all. Y'all gonna learn. We're nothing but a piece of meat to people in this world. Y'all gonna learn, man. You guys are gonna learn. They used to call Bill Cosby America's dad. What they call him now? Yeah, y'all gonna learn. Y'all the brothers. Y'all gonna learn at some point. Y'all are all y'all have, man. You might lose the woman in your life, but you got kids and y'all brothers, and believe me, mommy and daddy ain't gonna be around forever. Auntie, uncle, all these shit happens, man, and believe me, I mean, hey, it could be one of y'all next. And I know Jamel or Jamal don't want to have that shit in their heart that one of them died and y'all didn't get a chance to squash some bullshit beef. The last time you spoke to your brother, you said some hard shit. Now you at his funeral and you can't even apologize to him. You can't nothing. Believe me, y'all ain't ready for that, man. Y'all could listen to these stupid ass channels out here because you got Jamel Charlo fans taking his side or Jamal Charlo fans taking this. They don't care about neither one of y'all. And if they did, they'd be saying the same thing I'm telling you, man. Don't put your business out there. Don't be out here talking shit about your brother, disrespecting each other and trying to put their personal life out. Don't do that shit. Same way you see the shit that happened with Deontay and his little brother, man. And you know, yo, he fucking my girl and blah, 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 and all this kind of shit going on. And y'all put it out to the world, but the world don't give a fuck. They don't. They don't give a fuck. And then here's the thing about it too. When you have a reputation as being a liar, and then some shit like that is said about you, yeah, the same people cheering you today to throw that shit at you. Yeah, motherfucker, you fucked your girl brother, blah 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 blah, this and that. We done seen the way people react once you no longer cool with them. Whether they're in the right because of something you did wrong to them, or however it went, bottom line, the truth starts to come out. So, yeah, man, just take the loss. Nothing you can do about it. You got your ass whooped. I don't care nothing about all this bullshit you said happened backstage, because at the end of the fucking day, we're grown ass men and women. And once again, when you see a man or a woman stand on their business and they make sure that no shady shit's going on, y'all call them pussies and bitches, right? like y'all tough or something, but yeah, y'all call them pussies and bitches because they make sure we not using those gloves and y'all not using those fucking gloves either. We using gloves. We ain't going in here with fucking brass knuckles, motherfucker. We out here, we're boxing. This is a sport. Nah, y'all call these people bitches, pussies. Oh, they soft. They don't want no smoke. If you all that good yourself, then why the fuck does the gloves matter? Y'all throw it at the person that's saying, no, we ain't doing that dirty shit. Yeah, we know what it is. Because you fighting the guy, and his only chance to win really is having a puncher's chance. So, yeah, if we have unpadded gloves, right, stop. We know better than that. We know better than that. You want a person to take a drug test, oh, he trying to avoid the smoke. You want to make sure a person is not cheating, he's trying to avoid the smoke. The person cheat, well, that's his fault. He should have made sure. Exactly. So, bottom line. Ngannou, you can do better, man. Focus on your MMA. really just stay away from boxing. Seriously. Just stay away from boxing. Because at your age, man, you don't realize there's a lot more that you need to add to your arsenal to be a top dog. You just don't get it. And you're going in there with this, and I'm pretty sure your MMA buddies got you thinking that, yeah, man, you could do this shit like it's easy, man. Yo, we take elbows. I've heard people say that shit all the time. They said the same thing about Ngannou before the fight. Remember, this guy take elbows, knees. I told you, I do both. People listen, they exaggerate this shit, man. They don't even know what the fuck what they talking about. And even for the MMA guys, yeah, we get hit, we get knees, elbows, all that shit. We get it. We get it. Right? But guess what? It's not the same. So, once again, you can take elbows and knees to the head, and they can't put a dent in you. AJ put a fucking dent in you. It's like I keep telling y'all. Everybody think they can put on a pair of gloves and come into boxing. All this circus shit needs to end, man. Just don't disrespect yourself. Don't disgrace yourself. Don't play yourself. Just focus on MMA. Focus on MMA. It's your choice, but focus on MMA. Because you get in there with another guy and he beats your ass again, then it's going to be another excuse of what? Don't do that, man. You lost, and here's the thing. People probably forgot about that shit by now. They ain't really focusing on it too much, but you brought it back up. Certain questions, man, we ain't talking about that. It is what it is. What happened, happened. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going forward. We're not even talking about it. Simple. What Joe Rogan going to do? At this point, yeah, fair enough. And they go to the next question. That's all. There's nothing to talk about. Because now you're going to just repeat what you already said. And to try to paint that picture that you was cheated and that's why you lost, that's some sucker shit, yo. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.